It's so great to see so many familiar faces with us today. I see Julie and Reva, and then I even see some new people that I haven't met before. So I want to say welcome to you all. If this is your first time joining our webinar, my name's Dana Bryant. I'm the Outreach Officer, and then our co-host today is Christina Cochran, and she is our AmeriCorps Training Officer, and she's going to be helping out today too. So a little bit about our webinar series. This is our 1-year anniversary. We've done a whole year of Volunteer West Virginia webinars. I see some clapping and boxes, so thank you. We started this webinar series to explain what we do at Volunteer West Virginia to the general public. And then we also like to have fun here. So it's an opportunity to get together, meet your fellow West Virginians, and just have a break amongst your busy day. So we're really happy you all are here for this special webinar today. So some exciting news. We just launched our 2022 schedule. Can you all believe it's going to be a new year? I can't, but we have some really great webinars lined up for you all. So it's on our website. The upcoming months in January, we're going to do Meet Volunteer West Virginia. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about us, that's going to be a great webinar for you to join in. For February, for Valentine's Day, we're going to be talking about volunteers and how you can nominate a volunteer for the Governor Service Awards and other ways to recognize your volunteers. And then in March for AmeriCorps Month, we're doing AmeriCorps across West Virginia. And then April for National Volunteer Month, we'll be recruiting volunteers online. So we have our full schedule online, so be sure to visit after today's webinar and sign up for your top picks. So today's webinar is all about wellness. I think December is such a great time of year to slow down and practice wellness. I don't know about you all, but I've been feeling pretty anxious ever since Thanksgiving. It seems like there's so much going on and it's hard for me to keep up with it. So that's kind of the theme around our webinar today. So we're going to start with a little bit of chair yoga. And if you've never done it before, don't panic. It's going to be really easy. And then we're going to do our top 6 winter wellness tips. And then Christina is going to lead us through a 2021 reflection activity, looking back at the past year. So in my spare time, I'm a yoga teacher. I've taught probably for maybe 4 years. I haven't taught during the pandemic, but yoga is something I found. I actually found it at a meeting up in Morgantown, and they said, we're going to do some chair yoga. And I got freaked out. I almost left the meeting entirely because it was really intimidating to me. So if you're feeling that way right now, it's normal. But I really fell in love with it, and I became a yoga instructor about a year or 2 later. So just a little bit of an informative session about what yoga is. Yoga is pretty old. It can be traced back to northern India about 5,000 years ago, and it might even be older than that. The interesting thing about yoga, we often think of it as those exercises you see on TV, and you think, how is that person twisted up like a pretzel? But it's a lot more than that. That's really just the tip of the iceberg. So yoga includes a lot of different components: philosophy, breath work, that's what we're going to be practicing today, and the physical practice, which is called asana or postures. And if you think about it, the ancient yogis, a lot of them weren't even doing the physical practice that we associate with yoga today. They did more of a seated meditation. So when we think of yoga and doing those stretches, it's really about a physical practice to calm your mind for meditation, which is pretty cool. So here's just kind of an explanation of what I was just talking about. Over here on the left, you'll see an ancient picture of a yogi, and that person's seated. So a lot of the ancient yogis, that's all you did was sit in a chair and meditate. And I don't know about you all, but in a modern lifestyle, it's pretty hard just to sit down at the end of the day and not think about your to-do list. So in modern yoga, you'll see on the right, we've incorporated a lot of these movements or asana. And when you do your yoga postures, it helps to relax your body so that you can sit down to meditate. So it's really interesting to think about how yoga has transformed over the years from a seated practice into the modern movements that we know today. And if you're curious about yoga, what does it even mean? It's an ancient Sanskrit word, and it translates to yoke or union. So when you think about that, a modern interpretation of how I like to explain it is yoga is reconnecting to yourself. So it's about, after a busy day, being able to sit down, relax, and then reconnect to the core of who you are. So that's a little bit of an explanation of what yoga is. Usually when you think of yoga, you think of a really athletic yoga class where someone's doing chair pose or balancing on their heads, but there are lots of different kinds of yogas for everybody. Like I said, the ancient yogis didn't even do a lot of the postures. So if you're new to yoga, a great place to start would be chair yoga, which is what we're going to be practicing today, or restorative yoga. And then I just wanted to point out, this is the world's oldest yoga teacher. She's 93 years old. Her name's Portia Lynch. So if you feel in doubt that you can't do yoga, I just want you to remember her and think, if she's 93 and can do it, so can we. So we're going to do just a 5-minute yoga practice together at your seats, no pressure. And if you don't feel like doing it, you don't have to. So if you're interested in joining along, just begin to sit in your chair. Sit up nice and tall. And the foundation of yoga is really the breath. So that's what we're going to start with today. So just start by taking a nice big inhale through your nose, and then exhale through your mouth. And let's do 2 more of those. And when we do it, we're just going to exhale all of our holiday stress away. So nice big inhale. And then exhale. And 1 more big sip of fresh air. Inhale. And then exhale. And when we practice yoga, the breath is known as prana, which is energy. So when we're breathing really deep like this, we're bringing new energy all throughout the body, which is really good this time of year. So we're going to practice finding our breath in our body. So you're going to take your hands and you're just going to place them over your belly. And then all we're going to do is take 5 big deep breaths. So, and we're going to see if we can feel the breath in your belly. So you're going to want a big Buddha belly. So take a big inhale and then exhale. Nice. And now let's inhale and then exhale. And this time, let's see if we can inhale and exhale through the nose. So inhale, exhale, and then 2 more breaths on your own. See if you can make that big Santa Claus belly. Moving the prana or the energy around 1 more time. And exhale. Good job, everyone. And now we're just going to move our hands over our heart. And while you have your hands placed here, think of one thing that you're grateful for today. And just put that in your mind. You know, in the era of COVID, you can be grateful just for a fresh breath of air, right? We've totally rethought that. So we're going to find those 5 deep breaths in your chest now. So inhale, and then exhale. Inhale as much as you can. Imagine you're sipping a glass of water. See if you can pause at the top and then exhale. And then 3 more breaths on your own. Good job. Now you're a fancy yogi. You've done pranayama. We're going to practice our asana or our postures. So you're just going to bring your hands down to your knees. And this is pretty simple. All you're going to do is inhale, sweep your fingertips high up to the sky. Imagine you're placing a star on top of the Christmas tree. And then exhale, hands back down. So a lot of what we do is we match our movement with our breath. Inhale, reach towards the top of that Christmas tree. And then exhale. And then let's do that 1 more time. But this time we're going to pause at the top. And then see if you can notice here how your ribs feel really wide, like an accordion. And then let's fill that space in with a big deep breath. So inhale. And then exhale. Back down. Good job. We're going to place your right hand on your knee. And we're going to do a crescent shape now with your left hand. And all you're going to do is inhale, sweep your left hand high up to the sky. And then see if you can bring your gaze all the way up to those left fingertips and then twinkle them like a star. And take a big deep breath. And then exhale, sweep back down. And then let's ground the left hand into the knee. See if you can press your body really tall like a tube of toothpaste. And then inhale, right fingertips all the way up. Bring your gaze up to the sky. And then see if this time you can slide your right hip down into your chair without even moving it. One more inhale. And then exhale. And let's just do one more on either side. We're just going to sweep. Lift the gaze. And then exhale. And then inhale. And then exhale. Nice job. And then bring your right hand up towards the front of your face. And we're going to open up our shoulders. So you're just going to cross your right hand over your heart and then bring your left hand up. See if you can slide your shoulders away from your ears. We carry so much responsibility and stress in our shoulders. So it's like we're carrying heavy bags of Christmas shopping list, work tasks. So see if you can just let that melt down. Take one big inhale and then exhale. Awesome. And then we're just going to do the other side. So bring your left hand up. You're going to cross it over your chest. You'll probably find a little bend in that left elbow and then bring your right hand up. And then melt that left shoulder like an icicle. One big deep breath here. And then exhale. Good job. And then bring your hands to the front of the camera and just make little circles. And we're going to interlace our fingertips and then press your palms forward. Get a big deep stretch. And then take one deep breath here. Beautiful. And then bring your hands down to your knees and close your eyes. And then we're just going to close our yoga practice by thinking of one more thing that you're grateful for today. And when you think of that, see if you can imagine it like an image, like you're watching a movie screen right behind your eyes. And then we're going to use the breath to inhale that gratitude, like you're taking a sip of coffee. So take a big inhale and then exhale. And one more. And exhale. And then let's just pause here together for about 3 seconds. All right, open your eyes and then just notice if you feel a little bit different than when you started your yoga practice. And if you did, write it in the chat box. I'd be curious to see if anyone feels different after 5 minutes. Christina, what do you think?
I think that was wonderful and very relaxing. It's amazing to see how just a couple easy movements and really concentrating on something so simple as breathing in and breathing out can be so relaxing. So that was great, Dana. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Christina. You look relaxed.
I feel it.
And there's lots of nice comments in the chat. Elizabeth and Kathy feel more relaxed. Abigail, we do carry a lot of stress in our shoulders. You know, we carry a lot of weight on our back and then it manifests in our shoulders. And Joyce feels relaxed too. Abigail, you're welcome. Wow, I'm so glad so many of you practice with us. And this is a great lesson for the holidays that it only takes 5 minutes to feel better. And at a time when we're so busy, that's all you need. And it can do a really big shift in your mental state and how you're feeling. So I hope you all enjoyed that wellness tip. And now we're going to share a few more. So these are our top 6 winter wellness tips. Winter hasn't always been the easiest time for me. I used to struggle with it a lot because I'm a summer person. So these are some tips I've been practicing this winter, and I think you all will really enjoy them too. So our number 1 wellness tip is to slow down. So winter is a time to slow down, recharge our batteries, and prepare for spring. So let's just look at the slide for a second. You can see how simple and still everything is right now. If you walk out in the morning in the winter, you'll notice how quiet it is. You don't really hear a lot of birds, and there's just so much stillness around us. And we're really a reflection of nature. So to be part of nature, we can take some cues from it. So how do you slow down in the winter? Well, first of all, let's think about all the animals that hibernate in the winter. So you see this bear here, he hibernates up to 7.5 months. I don't know about you all, but I would love to take a nap for 7 months and then wake up in the springtime. But it's a time where animals hibernate because food is so scarce. And you can see over here on the right all the different animals that hibernate, which I didn't even have any idea that a bat hibernates or a hedgehog. But it's a time that animals slow down to conserve their energy. Because if you think of yourself as an animal out in nature, it takes a lot of energy to stay warm, and there's not a lot of food. So if we were living in nature, we would be moving very slow in the winter and conserving our energy. Now, this is really interesting contrast to what's happening in the world around us right now. So if you look on the left-hand side, it's a beautiful picture of winter in nature. And you'll see some of the qualities of winter are that it's quiet, it's dark, and it's still. And then in complete polar opposite are the holidays, which is the opposite of how winter is. And they are very social, bright, and busy. So if you've ever felt a little bit discombobulated this time of year, maybe consider it's because we're in direct opposition to nature right now, and you can find a balance in between, but it's okay to give yourself permission to slow down and to be dark and cozy and hibernate this time of year. Our number 2 tip is to get cozy. So when you slow down, you have more time to get cozy. So you might notice it gets dark around 5 p.m. now, which used to really get under my skin. But now I use it as a time to take care of myself and to relax. So you can really use these longer evenings as an opportunity for self-care and relaxation. So maybe you go home, you light a candle, you read a book, or you play board games. And when you slow down like that and get cozy, you're a little bit more in line with nature, which will help your overall disposition. And this tip is really stuck out to me this year. And I've been reading a lot about hygge. It's a Danish culture or a Danish philosophy for your life. And what they do is they have really long winters there, but they really love it. So I thought there must be something to this. So they love being cozy. And here are some of the things they enjoy doing in the winter and all year long. So they love to bake yummy food, smell happy things. I know right now I'm diffusing some cinnamon in my office. They like soft lighting. So maybe when you go home, you light a candle, and you spend your evenings with relaxing hobbies, sweet treats, and warmth. So I don't know, this really resonated with me, and it's a totally different way of looking at winter. And in the summer, you're usually very busy going on vacations and working in your garden. So this is a great time to slow down and tune inward and enjoy all these really cozy, lovely things. And if this sticks out to you, I just finished this book over here on the right. It's a really beautiful book, and it's How to Hygge. And it talks a little bit about this philosophy and how to stay cozy. So you all might enjoy it too. This is like a really big one. This is like a magical tip that's so easy that we don't even think about. Notice how you're feeling. So in the chat box, if you look on the right, there's a little smiley face and you can paste an emoji. So my challenge to you is to make an emoji of how you're feeling right now. So I'm feeling pretty good after that yoga. So I'm going to do a smile face. But probably this time yesterday, I was more of an angry mean face. So yeah, you can either type what you are and paste your emoji and just kind of notice how you're feeling. So like Amy has a cold right now. She's not feeling very well. And when you take the time to actually slow down and notice how you feel, you can change your plans a little bit. So maybe if you weren't feeling well, like Amy, you would skip your neighborhood holiday party, you know? And so often, I don't know about you all, but I go on autopilot. So when you take a moment to notice how you're feeling, you can adjust the plans of your day and you're more in sync with yourself, which will make you have a better rhythm for your life. So I'm glad most of you are happy faces right now. And just a few other faces. So there's some great ways you can check in with how you're feeling every day. You can keep a journal, or you can download a mood tracking app. There's one called Daylo, where maybe you like get a friend and you just text each other how you're feeling every morning as an emoji. That would be really fun. I know we do that at the office sometimes. So then, yes, and then it helps you remember how you're feeling. And Lisa brought up a great point. It also helps you remember that this isn't a bad day, it's just a bad moment. So your emoji can change throughout the day. And what's really helpful about this is it helps you recognize society's norm versus the reality. So right now in society, I would say we all would be happy holiday shopping, baking cookies with our loved ones. But honestly, it can be a very stressful and emotional time of year. You know, I feel like a lot of emotions come up in the holidays that we didn't even know we were holding on to. I know I felt kind of sad and you don't even know why. So it can be freeing to understand how you're feeling, and just being okay with that can be pretty grounding, especially in such a fast-paced world. All right, so this is a great holiday tip, is find balance. So there's this really beautiful plate of Christmas cookies on the right-hand corner. I remember one Christmas, I went to a Christmas cookie exchange party and I ate all the cookies, like every day, all day long. And it really threw me out of balance. Like I wasn't right until the end of January. So when I think about finding balance in the holidays, I think of eating holiday cookies. So you need to find a balance. You can't do everything for everyone. And if you do that, it'll help you maintain your health. And then, you know, a lot of us get sick in January after this crazy erratic schedule. So if you find balance, this will really help you. So some tips are to block off dates. Maybe you keep every Sunday evening to yourself and your family. And then you don't accept any holiday plans or obligations on Sunday nights. It can be easy as just setting a day on your calendar at work, or an hour at work, or 15 minutes that you have to yourself. So block off your dates because time flies. Choose wisely. I know there's 100 things I'd love to be doing for Christmas, but I can't do them all. And it puts a lot of pressure on myself to try to do everything. So I really try to prioritize the activities I really love. So I'm going to be making pierogies with my family this weekend, and then get a Christmas tree next weekend, and maybe I'll get to my Christmas cards, you know, and if I don't, it's not the end of the world. So if you think of your holiday to-do list as a priority, what you really want to do, it'll help you instead of trying to do everything. And then the last tip is learning to say no during the holiday season. There is so much fun stuff we could be doing. I mean, come on, we could eat the plate of cookies all day long, but it's just not going to work out in our favor. So if you have to say no, it's okay. And know that you can't do everything. And it's normal to feel that way. And then Joyce said, saying no is so hard. It's very stressful in itself, but much needed, which is very true. My philosophy is, if we aren't doing our best, we are not doing the best we can for others, which is very, very true. It's a great way to look at it, Joyce. All right, we have 2 more tips. So number 5 is take a walk outside. This is a really big part of hygge, the Danish culture that I was talking about earlier, is they love being outside, even when it's cold out. I used to not go outside all winter because I thought it's cold. I don't want to be cold outside. But they have this great quote, and it's, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothes. So put on a scarf and your boots and go outside. It's really grounding and beautiful. And each season has its own beauty to it. So you can really enjoy winter this way. I've been walking around looking at the Christmas lights in my neighborhood. It snowed a little bit this morning, so that was really pretty to look at. So even if you go outside and take a walk for 10 minutes, that'll really help your mental clarity. It'll help keep your vitamin D levels up, which are really low this time of year. I'm not a doctor, but you can Google that if it jumps out to you. And then it really helps to, it really helps to surround yourself in nature, because we're part of nature, right? So that'll help harmonize us. And then number 6, our last tip is to give back during the holidays. So if you're feeling blue or under the weather, that really helps you. And sometimes giving back can be as simple as calling your dad or a friend you haven't talked to in a long time. It doesn't need to be really sophisticated or fancy. It can really help you. I know right now homeless shelters really need socks and gloves, underwear. So that's an easy way to help. You can volunteer at a food bank to make meals, or you can take a name off the giving tree. So I know it's really hard to slow down this time of year, but if you give back, it'll help you feel better. And you might even consider giving back to yourself and just giving yourself a break, right? So there's 2 sides to that coin. So those are our 6 winter wellness tips. There are some really great comments in the chat box, so I can tell you all enjoyed it too.
Those tips were wonderful, Dana. Thank you so much for sharing them and helping us all to remember how to ground ourselves through the holidays. The one that stuck out the most to me was slowing down and recognizing how much in contrast our busy holiday shopping commercialized version of this season is with nature's plan for winter, which is slow and calm and peaceful. So recognizing that juxtaposition and kind of stepping back from the craziness is going to help me a lot this year. Okay, everyone. Now that we've heard our wellness tips, we're going to move into a reflection activity for 2021. We know that sometimes the best moments and the best takeaways come from just getting to chat with one another and share. So we hope that you'll stick around for our one breakout room where we can reflect and share with each other about this past year. This is how it's going to work. We're going to have one small group discussion, one breakout room. It's going to be about 10 minutes long. We encourage you to watch the clock so that everybody gets to share their reflection. There'll be about 4 or 5 people in your group, so everybody should have a couple of moments to share their reflection. And think of it as a really low pressure opportunity to just think about everything we've talked about in the last 30 minutes and reflect on the last year. We know it's been crazy. So once you're in your breakout room, remember that there's not going to be a facilitator in there with you. You can just start as soon as it seems like everybody's there. You can, if nobody's stepping up to speak, you can go in alphabetical order of your first name so that you know which order to share in. And don't forget to introduce yourself. Say your name, your organization that you're involved with, if you are involved with an organization, and where you are in West Virginia. And then you can answer your choice of these reflection questions to consider. So you don't have to answer these verbatim or specifically, but these are some things that we were thinking might help you to get some wheels moving in your head and reflect on the last year. So take a moment to think about these 3 questions. What was your most positive experience this year? How do you think you have grown throughout the last year? And what would you tell your past self from 1 year ago about what to expect in 2021, or how to handle things that may have came at you in the last year? So we'll just pause for a moment to give everybody a chance to think about which one of these questions might be kind of calling to you, which one might be sticking out to you the most. And you can share whatever you feel like with your small group. Again, I'll read the questions. What was your most positive experience this year? How do you think you have grown throughout the last year? And what would you tell your past self from 1 year ago about 2021? I'll also put those in the chat box once everybody is in their small groups, but we hope that you guys will have a nice chat. We'll see you back here in just about 10 minutes.